To a new episode, how to learn JavaScript from beginner to advanced. Today we will discuss about another type of function in JavaScript. It calls closures. Let's start in and let's learning about closures in JavaScript. We take gradually for a good understanding of this concept with a simple function who display just an output, a string, an expression, hello world. It's a simple function declaration, no? Function greet, name greet, who return a string hello world. And here we put in console.log for display the message, this hello world. Let's see the result. Okay. Here we have a simple function named greet that returns the string hello world. No, I say that when we call greet, it run and give us the result. Here we call the greet function and the result is in the console. Let's develop this function for access. Function can access variables inside their own scope. Now let's see how function can access variables that are defined inside the function. For this we will use the same function, but for this time we'll create inside a variable. We define inside this function a variable, and we will see how function can access this variable, how greet function will access this variable. And we'll put here a comment accessing local variable in a function, and here simple function declaration. We develop this simple function declaration with accessing local variable in a function. We have function greet, and inside this function we create a variable message with this message hello from the function, and with the keyword return we will return this variable inside the function. A value is this. When you use return, you give back a value. In our case, a value is hello from the function because we return message variable. Okay, normally in the console log when I run this function should to be hello from the function. Hello from the function. Okay, good. Now again let's make a little summary. We have a function here, and inside this function we create a variable and will return this variable. In this time we don't reach to a closure, because a closure means a function inside another function, but in our case we have just one function. Till now we have just one function, function greet, who return a variable. Okay, let's continue to see how function will works when we use nested function. Nested function, functions inside function. Okay, will be two functions now. The outer function and the inner function. Okay, and now we are on the closure, because closure means a function inside another function, and the inner function have access to the variable of outer function. Okay, we have two functions here. We have a function outer, this with blue, no, and inside this outer function we have a second function, inner, who return a variable that are in the outer function. The inner function can access the outer message. Outer message is an outer function, no? And return outer message. In the outer function, it is mandatory to return the inner function. Always when you use closure, should to return inner function, because should to return the value. If you don't return the inner function, you can access the value. Let's see, without we delete this. Inner function is not a function. You can't access the inner function, but if you return, you can access the inner function. Inner function, outside the function we declare a variable inner function and assign it outer function, all these function, no? And after this we console.log the variable, and the output is IM from the outer function. Let's analyze one more time this function. We have two functions now, function outer and function inner inside it. Inner is inside outer and it has access to the variable outer message. Inner function have access to the outer message and return outer message from the outer function. No, outer message is an outer function. When you call outer, it returns the inner function inner. We return here inner. Even though outer finish executing, the inner function still remember and can access the outer message variable. Okay, let's see how is the key idea of a closure. When an inner function retain access to the variable of outer function even after the outer function had finished executing, the inner function inner is returned from outer and it remember the outer message, this message. Okay. Again, what is a closure? A closure is a function inside another function. We have here a function inner who are inside the function outer, and the mainly function, outer function, should to return function inner. After we call this function below, we assign the entire function to a variable, and after this we console.log this variable. A closure means that function, inner function, can retain and can access the variable from outer function. We have here another example with this closure. We have a grid outer and greet inner. This is a function, a closure function, no? Because we have a function inner, greet inner, inside another function, greet outer. Okay, greet inner have access to the current hour. Current hour are located in the outside function greet outer. And you see here function greet inner, this is all function, all inside function. And you see here inside outer function is mandatory to return this inside function. His name is greet inner. We return here greet inner. Return the inner function greet inner. No, to access the inner function from the outside, you need to return it from the outer function. Either retain access to the current hour, retain access to this variable. From the outer function, to access the inner function from the outside, you need to return it from the outer function. Now, I return it here. By returning the inner function, you make it accessible from the outside. And here just I call greet function. This greet outer, I assign it to a variable. I create a closure. As greet will retain access to current hour even after greet outer finished. That was all for today. Let's make a summary to retain more this concept in JavaScript. Closures. Retain just these things. Closures is a function in other function. You have a outer function and a inside function, like here greet outer, greet inner, and is mandatory to return greet inner. Is mandatory to return inside function, no? Inside of outer function, because if you don't return this inside function, you can access the variable of outer function, this current hour. I hope you understand what I say here. I hope you know in this moment to create a closure function. It's not difficult, but without practice, without exercises, you can to make progress. All the best and have a good day.